What's up everybody, Hoang Zero here, and today we are joined with the Gallantmon player who made top 8 at the EU's Ultimate Cup. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Edoardo Masi from Italy. I've been playing Digimon since BT5, fell in love with the game, and I've been trying a different deck for pretty much every tournament I've taken part in. And this time around I went with Gallantmon, because I was thinking that the deck was really good in the BT11 format, the regular format, before the Ultimate Cup restrictions. And I always wanted to play this, but I never quite found the perfect spot for it, because the user base really likes decks that have protection. So when the restrictions came in, I thought to myself, okay, this deck has a lot of positive matchups, really few bad ones. Also, it was a bit of a market call, if you want to, because my reasoning was, okay, the best decks are Alforce Vidramon, Gallantmon, and Bloomlordmon. I think this is the triangle. Like, Bloomlordmon beats Alforce, Alforce beats Gallantmon, and Gallantmon beats Bloomlordmon. That's my reasoning. But the fact is, in 2 weeks, or actually 1 week maybe, after the restrictions, is it really that easy to get 4 Renas and 4 Leomons? So really the market thing had a very important role in my call for the deck. So yeah, I played in the championship as well, got top 8, lost to my dear friend Forturan, a good Spanish player. I won 3 nationals tournaments in Italy, won 1 European tournament and got to finals twice, and the second was with Gallantmon. So the tournament went pretty well.
Alright, so I'm curious now. Tell us why you chose the cards you did for the Gallantmon deck.
Okay, the cards I chose for the Gallantmon deck were almost completely different, because I really thought in the beginning that the only thing that was good in Gallantmon was the Megas. So I was kind of thinking to go for a general good red cards base, Greymon base, like play the Rise Greymon X to play my Takatos, play Greymon Security +1. But after a bit of testing, I realized that most of the cards were much better than they looked. So for example, there's Digimon. Of course, this egg is so busted, like the best egg in the game. There's a reason why every deck that needs to draw plays this, like their Bigmon, Machindramon, like there's a ton of decks that play Digimon. So if you don't play it in Gallant, I mean, nothing. The only thing you could argue is for a 5th egg and to go for a Gurimon, which is almost the same thing, but you don't draw off of a rookie. And I've never, ever finished my eggs, so no need for a Gurimon or any other egg. And for the rookies, I went with 12 rookies, which I feel like is enough. If you play spoiler for memory boosts, you need them in every Ultimate Cup format deck, I believe. So I play the 4 EX2 Gilmon, which is your searcher. It's very good because it can grab you a tamer. The Inheritable is pretty relevant in the Bloomlordmon matchup, which was probably the most popular deck, I would say. Or if not, it should have been the most popular deck. And then there's the ST7 Gilmon, which is your Warped Evolution Gilmon. This card is so nasty. Like, it's unfair, almost unfair, because the fact that Gallantmon has Blitz when you have Takato out, and you can warp into a Gallant from a level 3, makes it so that if you can promote safely in the early game, like you promote and pass turn with a memory boost or a tamer, so you have a pile out, then you start from breeding again, and you put the Gilmon in breeding. Whenever the opponent goes in with their Mega to solve your Gallantmon on the board, you can just go into another Gallantmon and blitz from your breeding, which is insane. Like, this card is such a game winner. Also draws you when you delete something, which is always a +1. I'll take it. Then there's the Gilmon X. Like, this card, in the beginning, didn't love it, but let me tell you, this card does wonders. The Inheritable looked so bad in the beginning, honestly, but when you can boost your deletion effect of for Gallantmon X antibody, you hit magical thresholds, and it's more common than you think that you can snipe something with the When Digivolving. I often did like on play ST7 Gallantmon for free memory, then Gallantmon X on top, so I can delete a Digimon and draw one. So yeah, the card is good. It doesn't look good in the regular BT11 format because the scenario in which it works is much more rare, but in the Ultimate Cup format, it's pretty good. Then there's for the champion lineup, I went with 10, which is like your classic X antibody deck, 12 rookies, 10 champions. Pretty greedy, you could say, but as I said, for memory boosts fixes everything. That was the key. First champion, most important, best one is ST7 Gallantmon. When an opponent Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory. This is so strong, because you can steal turns with it. You can go, like, with a memory boost on the field, and this underneath, you can go into Crackman boost, level 5, go to 0. War Growl X, gain 1 or 2, which will be key, and then gain 1 from Gallantmon, so you can do Gallantmon without passing turn. And this happens so often. And the even stronger aspect is the 4 play cost. That was so relevant. I did a very nasty play against a Black War Grey with this, but I'll get to it later. And also, when you have to play double stack, which is very common for the Gallant, it's almost like Black War Greymon when you need to have a stack out to control the board and the stack inbreeding to respond to whatever happens. The fact you can get to a champion for just 4 memory is very relevant. Then there's the EX-free Gallantmon. This card is so insanely strong against Blue Flare. You can never lose the matchup. Actually, I lost the finals against Blue Flare, but that was like a double brick. That was completely insane. But like in 100 games of testing, I had 90% win rate thanks to this card. Because everyone knows that against Blue Flare, you need to do, like, as I said earlier, a stack in the field for aggression, to control the board and whatnot. And the second stack that goes out when the first is frozen needs to win the game. Otherwise you lose. That's not the case if your second stack has EX-free Gallantmon, because it can sacrifice the other stack to get security +1, so you can self-delete and never allow Blue Flare to gain advantage of your Digimons. Also, that's just the inheritable, which wasn't the best part of the card actually. The on-deletion effect, which, spoiler, is actually when Digivolving, there's an errata for that, allows you to delete 3000 or less, but you actually want to miss that effect, because if you don't delete anything, which also applies if the enemy Digimon can't be deleted for any reason, you trash 2 cards from both decks. You both mill yourself and the opponent, which is very relevant for the EX-free War Gallantmon, which we will see later. Also, filling the trash of your opponent makes your Gallantmon much stronger, so this card is actually one of the best play starters, but you need to be able to skip turns, like turn 1, Gallantmon inbreeding, and pass turn without Digivolving, so maybe a memory boost or a Takato or something, so you can get the when Digivolving when you promote. Then there's the 2 Gallantmon X antibody. This card, barely does anything when you compare it to Greymon X or Garuru X, but it's still a Digivolve for 0, which is never bad. You can cycle it out. And the +1000 for deletion effects is very strong when you can combine it with Gallantmon X. So now you can delete 8000 with War Gallantmon X, which is super relevant. I was very undecisive for a 3-3 split between EX-free Gallantmon and Gallantmon X antibody, so if you want to do that, feel free. but I wanted the consistency to get 5 cards in the trash for War Growlmon EX3. This card is like the best card in the deck, hands down. It mills both you and your opponent for free no matter what, which is very strong because if you have 5 or more cards in your trash, or your opponent does, just one of the two, you can play for free a Gallantmon or better a Takato for 0 from hand or trash. So you always have something to call with this. Usually I'll call a Takato with the first War Growlmon. If I get any others during the game, I'll call a Gallantmon, usually a searcher one, so I can replenish my hand. This card is insanely cracked because you can actually fill the trash for Crimson Mod to end the game easier. You can get the Tamer out for free. You can flute boards when going wide is an answer. If you feel like you need 1 extra damage, it calls a Gallantmon, which will be potentially a game finisher next turn. Also, combining this card with Growlmon EX3 means you can sometimes win by mill, which is basically the only win condition you have, for example, against Machine Dramon. The matchup is so bad, but you can catch players off guard with the mill. Like, let the game go long, don't do anything they need to react to. They go slow, not a lot of security pressure. When they have like 10 cards in their deck, you start going crazy with Growlmon and War Growlmon, and you can actually win by milling them. Then there's 3 War Growl X Antibody, another cracked card, very strong. I don't run 4, just because it's very bad when you don't see the War Growlmon, the regular one, to do under the X Antibody one. So when Digivolving, it marks 2 enemy Digimon. If they die, you gain 1 memory until the end of opponent's turn. So if for any reason they die in their turn, you still gain 1 memory, which is very important because they will forget about it, attack in security, crash, and you can still turn. They don't even realize. But the very strong part is that when you Digivolve on top of War Growlmon, or if you have X Antibody, which obviously you can't have, you destroy up to 6000 or less DP, which clears the field for Gallantmon, which will be relevant later. But anyways, combining this with either Gallantmon X or Growlmon X makes it for a decent semi-board clear. Strong in pretty much every matchup. You can get to snipe even level 5s, gain memory, steal turns, like don't pass turn, I mean. And for the 8 level 4, I went for a War Growlmon from ST7. This is by far the worst one, but it's the only one which gives you profit when you build in breeding. The when attacking can be relevant if you blitz with it, like if you have 1 memory, opponent has like a card, a rookie on the field, and maybe a level 4 or 5 which is suspended, you can evolve into this, blitz, attack the suspended target, and delete a rookie. And the inheritable, which gives you security +1, enables an actual OTK, which is something Gallant should not be able to do, but you can get to do 3 checks with Gallant, restand, and finish with Crimson. Moving on onto the Megas. Tested a lot. Played the EX2 Gallantmon, played the BT2 Gallantmon. Every time they were in my hand, I wanted to throw up. They're so bad. Play this ST7 Gallantmon. The card is so much better than the others because it costs 3, which is very relevant because, as I said earlier, with just a Growlmon and a War Growlmon X, you can gain free memory, so you can go into level 5 with just a mem boost or a memory setter or whatever, go to 0, gain free, go into Gallantmon without passing turn, which is insanely relevant, because also sometimes you need to go into Gallant X, which also costs 1 more, so wasting 1 more memory in any other Gallantmon is very bad. This one has security +1, which is non-conditional. It doesn't need 10 cards in the trash, it doesn't need anything like that, so it's the best to pressure. Helps you with clearing small bodies when attacking delete 3000 or less, actually 4000 or less, I'm sorry. You actually want to miss that effect, because if you don't destroy anything, which again, if you target something, but the target doesn't die for any reason, you still get buff effects, which is even better. You get plus 2000. So it's a mega, which costs 3, but has 14,000 DP base. And you almost always get the second effect, because if you play properly, you clear the small bodies with Gallantmon X and whatever else you have in your stack. So you can revenge swing pretty much everything, leave through security, and if you have a hero out, you can even leave a Wyvern's Breath, which I actually did once. So yes, that's the best Gallant. Then there's Gallant X. I play 3. Initially, I was playing 4 Gallants and 3 Gallant X's. I decided against that because even if Gallant X is actually not very bad, is much worse than it can be if you don't have a Gallant underneath, it's still strong. Like, the card is so key to your full combo, I can't just play 2. Because this deck also mills itself. So sometimes you just trash what you need. If you play 2 and you bottom deck 1 in the first turns or trash 1, you're gonna cry. So yeah, I play 3 and 3 now. I don't care if sometimes I see the Gallant X without the normal Gallantmon, it's too important. And even just by itself, it's basically a Gaia Force, because it deletes the lowest DP Digimon, but as I said earlier, you always clear the small bodies very easily and very efficiently as well. So you just DG into this and deletes the total stack the opponent has, which likely has no protection in this meta. Anyways, this card is the key to your OTK, because you can do 2 checks with Gallant, the ST7 one. Play this on top and restand if you don't destroy anything. And if you don't destroy anything, you can go into Crimson, trash 2 to 3 security usually, and end the game. If you don't get this effect, it's still good, because if you deleted something, after deleting the small bodies, it means you deleted the whole stack. And you're always gonna be happy about it. Like, if you clear the board and you have a mega out, you're still gonna win. And you trash 1 security as well, if you destroy Digimon. So it enables the next turn to always turn into a win. The only level 7 this deck needs is Crimson Mode, Gallant. The card is so busted, like, one of the best cards in the game in my opinion. Trashing security while blitzing is very strong. I've tested with Jasmine GX. I really wanted it to work, because you can activate the Wendage Evolving from Gallant X, delete a Digimon, unsuspend, swing again, but Crimson is just too good in comparison, so I decided against it. And the only thing I want to say about Crimson Mod is play 3. Don't play 2. Don't even think about 1. You have to bottom deck it sometimes. You will trash it sometimes. Card is too important. Also, 15,000 DP in security. Solid win condition against Backward Game on promo. Solid win con. JK. And you also have 4 memory boosts. Non-negotiable. I play 4 in every deck. I flame my friends when they show me a deck list and they don't have 4 memory boosts. I ask them how many are you playing. If they say less than 4, I'll disown them. Play 4 in a Pokemon deck, play 1 in your Commander Magic deck, max out memory boosts. There's 4 Takato. Was playing 3 in the beginning, but the consistency of playing Gallantmon EX2 into War Gallantmon, no, EX3, sorry, into War Gallantmon EX3 and getting a Takato out on turn 2, turn 3 is very important. You almost never want to have more than 1 on the board unless they check it in security. If it's free, plus 1 memory every other turn maybe, good, but you really need 1. That's why I play 4 even if I don't need more than 1 on the board, because it's important to see it, and it's important to see it early, so you can play it for free. Then there's the 2 memory setters. I was playing 1 initially, then I realized I didn't have enough cards in my deck to really pass the ball Like, it's something I talk about a lot in my decks. I want to be able to skip the turn, to time skip, basically. So I want to play cards that set me up for the next turn without committing on the evolutions and making me able to promote my rookie so that the next turn my breeding is free and I can have 2 stacks without paying the free memory of the rookie. And the memory setters I went for are the hero. This card, not great in my opinion, but giving plus 2000 to level 5s as well, not just level 6s, is relevant, because sometimes you want to blitz with War Gallantmon and proc the when attacking or getting memory for War Gallantmon X, so this card is very good. Also because Gallant has a huge problem, which will be solved in BT12, but not before that. You have 0 DP boosts, so it's hard to swing over stuff or live through security sometimes. There have been instances in testing where I was scared to swing, even if that would result in a win on the next turn, because I was thinking, wait, if I crash now, I throw the game. So I played it slow, probably didn't need to a lot of the times, but Hero solves this problem for you. So I played to be able to skip the ball, to pass the ball. And the last card in my deck is the only option. Most people play a lot of options in Gallant. I feel like that's bad. Like Crimson Blades, yeah, it's good in the format. It's a good card in general. You can boost it to kill 7 and 8000 DP thresholds, but feels pretty much useless because it's redundant. Your deck already does that. It does it well, it does it efficiently, so you don't need removals. Your Gaia Forces are your Gallantmon X's and Crimson modes. Your whatever small removals, Fireballs, Crimson Blazes, are your War Gallantmon X, Gallantmon, when attacking from Gillmon. Like, you can clear small bodies, you don't need those cards, they will only brick you. Mem boosts are better for consistency. You only need those options when you don't see your stack, when you're playing bad. So yeah, the only option that really wins you games is Gravity Crush. Nobody ever plays around this, and it can literally steal you games. You go into Gravity, you go into a Mega which doesn't pass turn, which results in attack, Gallant X, destroy Digimon, gain 1 from Takato, so steal your turn, go into Crimson, maybe end the game, if not you clear the board. I'm in love with this card, so it actually won me a pretty important game 3 against Black War Game on X. Actually, Black War Game on promo, because nowadays they play the black version, which is basically an OTK deck. I knew they were going for the OTK soon, so I had to pressure with my Gallantmon. I choked them in memory, but they went into Gaiamon, so they were able to clear my stack. My board was empty, but I was on like 3 memory, I believe. I crack Memboost, go to 5, play the very crucial Growlmon from ST7, which costs 4 memory. Go into Gravity Crush, go to 3. War Growlmon, go to 0, play Takato. War Gallantmon X, mark the Gaiamon. Into Gallantmon X anybody. Pass turn to 4, but gain 1 from War Gallantmon X, gain 1 from Takato, gain 1 from Growlmon. So I kill their stack from nothing, and I play a Mega, and I choke them to 1. Of course, they go to 3 due to the Gravity Crush, but the card literally won me the game 3 in an insane way. So I'll never be taking this out. Actually, I would love to play 2, because the deck functions really well with it. But at the same time, it's kind of a one-off, because you always want to see it, but you want to see it kind of later. If you bottom deck it, you're actually not sad, because you know it's in there, it's in the deck, it's not in security. You know when you will see it, you have to count the cards. Like if you bottom deck Gravity Crush or Blitz Omni or any card like that, you have to say, okay, this is the second card from the bottom of the deck. And whenever you bottom deck something, you say mentally, okay, now 2 more cards to the bottom, so it's the 4th card from the bottom of the deck. And you have to know when you draw this. This is very important for this kind of cards.
Alright, so Gallantmon as a deck seems really cool, but I actually want to know, how was their tournament run? What decks did you find really hard or really easy to beat?
A deck that I was able to beat 3 times out of 3, but didn't expect to, was Black War Greymon. Like the black base Black War Greymon, which is basically an OTK deck nowadays, and plays onto the promo Black War with Final Zubagon Punch, and Security +1 from Sunrisemon, immunity to options from Yuya. Pretty much a full-on BT6 Jasmine-like deck. And that counters you really hard, because Gallantmon needs to clear stuff out to get his value, to be able to trash securities. Is like a weird trade-off. When your opponent doesn't do anything, you can't do anything as well. So the deck, in my mind, was almost an auto loss, but I was like, who plays that? Like, come on, this is a new format. Are you still playing Black War Greymon? And I say this as a Black War Greymon fanboy. But I've actually faced 3. One of them was Marco Piavani, a friend of mine, Italian player, very good player. And I actually won against all 3 of them, mainly because I feel like the deck is a little bricky. Like, it requires a lot of pieces. And so I was able to gain advantage by going faster than them. One of the games I won thanks to the Gravity Crush insane play. But yeah, basically you need to have a Gallantmon out, pressure security, so they're forced to go onto it, and have a ST7 Gilmon in the breeding area. So you can go into a Gallantmon which can blitz, but most importantly, if you don't pass turn with Gallantmon, because you have to set a memory boost or something like that, Takato, clear a body out, something, you go into Gallant X, destroy their stack because they don't have protection anymore, which is very important. So yeah, I faced 3 of them, won all 3. Was don't want to say easy, but I realized it was much better than I believed it to be. Then I faced a Bloomlord, or actually maybe 2. Yeah, 2 Bloomlords. That was the best matchup. Like, I play Gallantmon because of that. Bloomlordmon, in my opinion, is the clear winner of the format. It's the best deck, it's strong, doesn't get any nerfs, plays well into pretty much every matchup. But Gallantmon destroys it. It's like the only deck that really beats it, and it's what earns a spot in the top meta contenders for Gallant, in my opinion. Like, I expected a lot more Bloomlord. I thought I would get at least 3 or 4 Bloomlords, but I didn't. But 2 was still basically 2 buys for me. I almost lost a game due to a misplay. I forgot about the Hydramon memory, something dumb like that. But like, it wasn't even close. Anyways, I was able to recover from such a bad play, which shouldn't happen, but it does because the matchup is so good for you. Like, they play stuff out, you go into Wargramon X, clear 2 bodies, get to memory, go into Gallant, swing over a body, clear another small body, go into Gallant X, clear another one. If they're still alive, you go into Crimson. Like, you can't lose that matchup, in my opinion. You just have to know that you need to always have Wargramon in breeding. Don't be greedy, don't promote early, they will do plenty stuff over you. Don't do that. Just have Wargramon in breeding, be ready to do Wargramon X into Gallant without passing turn, and you always win. So don't need to get your max value out of every card, like I mentioned earlier for Growlmon and Wargramon from EX3. So that's it for Bloomlord. I faced a Dark Knight. I was surprised about it. The deck was pretty strong, doesn't get basically any nerf after the restrictions. Very aggressive, but Gallantmon destroys it. Once again, every aggro deck, every Commandramon deck, basically every Swarm deck, you destroy them. So I didn't face them, but I did test against, for example, Commandramon. Mother the Reaper was another matchup. I wanted to play Blade of the Judgment to absolutely shit on Mother the Reaper, but I didn't need to because I cleared their stuff so well. But if they go into multiple gatekeepers to give me security -X, I just Crimson Mod and destroy them all. So yeah, I didn't, like, I played 2 games against Mother the Reaper and I was like, okay, I don't need to test this out. Also, Gallantmon technically is kind of hard to remove once it's on the board, but you can always kill it twice, like you swing over it, Gallant X, destroy it, they protect, Crimson, they protect. Not impossible to solve it, but you don't let them get to it. Like you clear all the Gallantmons very efficiently, always go into security, and you win pretty early. So yeah, those matchups are the easiest. Thanks God I didn't face Alfor's Vidramon, because it's an unfair matchup in my opinion. But yeah, the only other matchup I faced was the Blue Flare in the finals. That was funny because I tested a lot against a friend on Untap, and I won a very big amount of the matches. Like once you understand how to play it, which is like have a stack in breeding, then promote, go into Gallant, security pressure. If they do anything, or wait for the Wargram on X, destroy something, go into security with Gallant. If they do anything, Gallant X, security again. If they do anything, Crimson, security again. Of course, they will freeze you at some point, at which point you either promote from breeding and win if you have the combo ready, which you should, or in the worst case scenario, you just sacrifice the other stack with the Gallantmon X, the purple one. So yeah, it's a pretty easy matchup, but in the first round, there was a turn in which I was like, okay, I'm always gonna win this turn, because I have 10 cards in my deck, I didn't see a single Gallant X in the whole game, and I have memory to play Gilmon, search for, Gilmon X, draw 1, Growlmon, draw 1, swing with another body, draw 1. So basically I see like 7 cards. I must find a Gallant X. I don't. I lose my mind. When they finished the game, all my Gallant X's were in security. That was like 1 in a million case scenario. And the second game, I only drew level 3s and 4s for like 10 or maybe more cards, and they went too fast and I lost immediately. But I think that was just very unfortunate. The matchup is good. So the only matchup I feel bad about is Alfor's Vidramon. Because your condition to kill Alfor's Vidramon is double kill with Gallant X and Crimson. But that means you also have to clear their Leomons, which means you have to swing with Gallantmon or go into Wargram X without passing turn, but Leomon gains memory on deletion, so very hard to get rid of the Alfor's Vidramon. They also can set up from breeding and one turn kill you, which you can't do. Whereas their condition to remove your Gallant is just play Alfor's, literally. And I say this as someone who just played Alfor's in the Italian tournament, which was the day after the online Ultimate Cup. I played like 2 tournaments in 2 days. With Gallant and the Alfor's the next day. One of the reasons I switched to Alfor's in the second day was the worst Gallant matchup, that is Machine Dramon. You can't win it. Like, it's impossible. You either outplay them like very hard in the first turns. Like something you can do is bait a Metal Greymon out with a Gilmon, then you promote from breeding, go into Wargram X, somehow kill it, gain tempo, swing very fast, but that's very rare to accomplish. Or you can win by meal, but it's only gonna work once, but once can be enough in a tournament. So yeah, those are the matchups for Gallant in my opinion. There's also Yellow Hybrid, which is pretty popular here. I know it's not as popular in NA, but it's a very strong deck, and you can win it pretty consistently by trashing their security.
Well, once again, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really do appreciate it, and congratulations again on your achievement in the EU Ulti Cup. Do you have anything else you want to say to the viewers?
Yeah, I just want to shout out my dear friends who came to the tournaments with me. Like, we played the online basically together because we were hanging out in the table 500 rooms after each match, telling each other how the games went and whatnot. I want to thank my friend Giulio, who borrowed me the deck because I actually don't own this deck. This was almost max rarity. I never play anything that's above lowest rarity, so it was weird for once to play a blinked out deck. I want to say thank you to my friends who are like the best players in the world, in my opinion. Fortran, a Spanish player I mentioned earlier, I test against him a lot. Thanks to Dan Wang, as usual, dear friend of mine, talk about meta with him a lot as well. And thanks to you, Wang, as well, because your videos really brought me into the Digimon scene and made me want to play the game.
Well, I really do appreciate that, and thank you so much, and again, congratulations. So, with all that being said, take it easy, everyone. Peace.